Welcome to TallyHo's Under the Cowling. This is the podcast where you'll hear the stories of those who serve the aviation industry. From aircraft maintenance shops to product manufacturers. From pilots to air traffic controllers. From startup founders and CEOs. This is your one-stop shop to hear the stories of the individuals who helped build our industry and have shaped the aviation community into what it is today. Welcome aboard.
Okay, hello TallyHo Nation. It's Byron Severson, founder of TallyHo Apps, and you're on the Under the Cowling podcast. It's 8th of October, where we're getting ready for the NBAA Business Aviation Convention and exhibition next week, and looking forward to that. It's an exciting time of the year. We're turning seasons, of course, from summer to fall, and even feeling it in Texas. I'm in Las Vegas today, and it's 68 degrees, so it's kind of a strange thing here when they had 115 just 35 days ago. Hey, I've got a special guest with me today. It's Robert Guinn of PREMAIR, and he's got a great detailing service down in Houston. And so I just want to say howdy, Robert. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Byron. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's great to see you. Great to see you. I love all the branded gear you've got on today. I love that logo.
Yeah, my wife made me do all that. That was, yeah, I usually don't get all branded up. You said it was 68 degrees there?
68 degrees. Yeah, it's weird.
That's better than here. It's humid and muggy and sweaty.
I believe it. Well, that's Houston for you. Hey, it's so great to have you on today, and just excited. We've been wanting to do this for several weeks now, and Robert's been a subscriber to the TallyHo app for several months now, one of our earliest subscribers. And so I guess the first thing I just wanted to kind of get an intro from you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your company, and kind of how you got involved with aircraft detailing?
Oh, yeah, no problem. So let's see, as far as the aircraft detailing stuff, well, actually, I should start with myself. I'm 40 years old. My wife, Kristen, we've been married for, oh Lord, here we go. 11 years, October 23rd. I remembered it. There we go. And then we got
on the pressure early in the show.
Oh yeah, no, I'm bad. My memory is crap, dude. But but my boys, we got two boys. Owen that's 7, Riley it's 9, and we live in Splendora, which is just a little kind of hick town, about probably 30 minutes north of IAH, and I live in my grandmother's old house that she willed to me when she passed away in 2007, and we steadily just fix it up, and we love our little life. We keep everything very simple. You know, we don't have any extravagance. As far as the aircraft detailing, about 16 years ago, a boss that I had when I was working in retail, he was, I want to say he was like fueling planes at night or something like that. He started cleaning planes. He wanted me to start doing stuff with him, and so I started working with him, and through a ton of volleys and companies and things, I stick with him. I leave, stick with him, and I just kept seeing it was a blessing, because I seen transitions and how the differences are with different customers, different companies, and the way they interact. And on a business side, it taught me a lot. And then eventually I had to break away from him, you know, and then I started my own company with a friend, and that ended pretty quick, which most people talk about. And then now it's just me and Mama, and it's mind blowing, but we still have a massive following as far as customers, loyal, amazing customers. And it's just me and her, and even the customers don't understand it. But I think it shows that there's a bond there, and like a trust, you know, and integrity, because it's not just people running around all over the place and that don't care. You know, it's me and her, and this is our livelihood, you know.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about that. So with just you and her, and obviously you got a great customer base down in the Houston and extended area. Like, what does a work week look like for you? Like, is it
It varies a lot.
Is it 7 days a week, or
It varies a lot. I have weeks where every single day we have an airplane, and then I have times when we got a couple of planes or one plane, and then those are the weeks when we get to go have fun and do stuff or whatever. But in aviation, it doesn't matter what field you're in. There's not really a schedule, so it's you're just going with whatever the plane does.
so true.
And it's and thank God for her being patient through all the years and stuff, and she understands it. And so our vacations we look like the most spontaneous people you've ever seen in your life, because we'll just jerk the boys up and say, we're going to San Antonio, and they're like, what? And they think we're awesome folks, but they don't understand that we got to do it now. Like, this is the only chance we could do anything, and anyone in aviation understands that. So it's hard to say my work week. I have roughly probably 30 something airplanes that I maintain on a regular basis, whether it be weekly, monthly, sometimes every other day. It all varies. It's hard to say. We have weeks where I unfortunately, I hate this, but I have to sometimes push jobs off because it's just too much for us to do. I will tell you, and I have customers that I can't say their name because I asked them if I could and they said no. But I have customers that are mind blown at the amount of work we can do. And that's the reason why we're there, including bright work. Like I have friends and some you would call some competitors, that they have 5, 6 guys, 7 guys or whatever. And then I'll tell them that I'm cleaning a Gulfstream or a Falcon and I'm doing all the bright work, dry wash. It's just me and her. And we'll do it in a couple of days. Basically, the customers come into play because they understand the situation, but they trust us. So they'll give us time to allocate, they'll allocate time so we can make sure we get the job done. And they're better with doing that. They're better with doing that than getting somebody that could possibly mess their airplane up or do something wrong. And so that's a blessing, when it comes to.
They have accountability with you and direct input to who's doing the service. That's important.
Well, yeah, because the owner's right there in their face, and that's, you got to talk about like DOMs and stuff. They got enough crap going on. They don't have, they don't have time to worry about what's going to happen with their airplane cleaning and this and that. That's why they trust you. That's why they pay you. That's why you're supposed to take care of the job. And it's integrity, making sure that the job's taken care of and they have a peace of mind knowing that it's being done right. And that's what's most important.
So tell me, and once again, this is the Under the Cowling podcast. Tell me once again, or I should say, tell me not once again, but rather, what makes you passionate about aircraft detail? First thing I was going to ask is actually, how long have you been doing it? And then what makes you passionate about it still?
16 years,
okay.
Roughly. I'm not great with numbers, but I would say probably 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then what makes me passionate about it is it's a niche business. It's when you tell someone you detail airplanes, they usually look at you like you're an idiot. And they're like, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a selfish gratification, I guess,
Yeah.
But it's a niche business, anything in aviation. If you see an aviation mechanic, pilot, anyone like that, like you with your job and what you do,
Yeah.
that's a big deal, and so that drives me. And then, do you mean like as far as like what motivates me, like kind of like with
No, that was perfect. That was perfect, I think. But I'd be interested to know what gets you up every morning and gets you excited. Absolutely. Let's go with that.
I get excited whenever I get a phone call from a new customer, and that sounds like a dumbass response. Like, obviously you want a new customer, but it's because it's an airplane I've never seen or touched, and I get to see what I can do to try and help that customer, because I don't know who cleaned their airplane.
That's right.
I don't know what they've been doing. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like I can help. Even if I clean their plane one time, I can tell them, hey, this is the stuff that you need to get. If you do it yourself, use these chemicals, because these are the chemicals that are safe for your airplane. And don't do this, don't put this on that, and then it turns into like a bonding thing. And then the next thing I get a phone call again from them, and they're like, and they might not be calling me but they're doing something to their airplane. They're like, I forgot about what you said. What do I got to do? And then we kick off a conversation again. And then it feels like a challenge, because then if I know that somebody else has been cleaning their airplanes and it looked like I'm going to say it, but if it looks like crap, and then we fix it and the customer's mind blown, that makes me feel so good, because because you can get what I like to call whitewash, which is where you're doing the same thing over and over and over, and it gets repetitive, and then things start to just, and it's whenever something happens that changes all that, it's almost like a spark hits, it gets you fired back up again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like an aha moment. Like, I know exactly what you mean. I've had aircraft details. I owned a Byron for a while, and you get some details. It's like, okay, it looks cleaner, and then you get a detail. You're like, holy crap, the paint looks brand new. Like, all of a sudden you see the luster in the paint come out, and all of a sudden the boots have a shine. On that kind of airplane that has boots, obviously, the boots have a shine, or in your case, the bright work has, like, the bright work's been looking like crap for 3 years and they just didn't know it. And now all of a sudden their airplane looks brand new, and they're like, it just brings I know the feeling personally. You're like, you feel so much satisfaction in your choice when you see something like that opens your eyes.
No, absolutely. And it's not just for me. It's not for me, the provider. It's for the customer too, because then you feel like that you got your dollar's worth. Yes. Customer service these days are just trash for whatever reason. I have no idea why in the hell that is. I got my own thoughts, but I'm not going to talk about those. But there's it's hard to depend on anybody. Like, it's, whether it be a mechanic for your car or even a damn waiter at the restaurant, like, just trying to get decent customer service is really hard. Yeah. So what happens when you're talking about a multi-million-dollar aircraft and you can't get a half-ass decent hamburger? You know what I mean? Like, and you, so
no, I want to know, why do you said you weren't going to talk about that, but I'm interested. What's behind that? Why do you think? Let's go a little deeper.
In the aviation community, I personally think COVID hurt us. I almost had to shut my company down. If it wasn't for strings I pulled to stay alive, and I tried to keep my guys. I had 2 guys that worked with me during that time, and we probably went 4 or 5 months with no work, because if the airplanes ain't flying,
right?
We're not feeding them. And I was just burning through money, and finally I was like, man, I got to look out for number one. I got to look out for Mama and the boys, and it broke my heart, and I had to lay them off.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden things start rolling back, and the next thing you know, I hear about all these new aircraft cleaning companies that are coming out, and I started just Googling stuff, and what they do is they're basically people that clean cars or whatever. And they found out aircraft cleaning paid decent money. So they're buying crap from Walmart. They're not buying it's expensive to buy chemicals that are certified. I don't know if you care or whatever, but like the chemicals is a huge part of it. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I know.
You can know what you're doing, but the right chemicals to make sure they're safe for the airplane, for the fight against corrosion and other things. You have to have the right chemicals. Cody Fulcher with Jetstream Aviation Products out of McKinney, Texas. I've used him since I started, like forever. I get 95% of my chemicals through him. That dude's been doing it for like 30 years. He's a badass. Like, he's old school. And he does it. It's not glitz and glamour, shiny bottles, all that stuff. It's just a plain, bottle. But his chemicals are amazing.
You put the wrong stuff on a $60 million airplane. You might be damaging some $8,000 seats, right?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, the leather products that I use, that's a secret that I'm not going to let out, because it's a mixture of a couple of things that I have to ship in from overseas that are leather products, and I mix things together for that. But as far as the exterior of the airplane, yeah, pretty much all my stuff comes from Cody. And that's why, and I told Cody that we were going to do this. And he said, that'd be great if you could do that. But he also is the same with me about marketing and stuff. He's like, oh, that's great. Thank you so much. It's a blessing. But the thing is people need to know you have to use the right stuff. Like, you really do. It doesn't matter. Anyone that watches this podcast, if you're an aircraft leader and you're doing that, God bless you. And I wish the best for your company. I hope you do awesome. But you have to use the right stuff, because eventually down the line, it will come back and bite you in the ass, because something will happen where the wrong thing was put on the wrong spot or something, and you can't afford it. It's expensive,
Yeah.
and the customer is depending on you to make that decision. Are they going to sit there and go through your box and look at everything that you have? They can. They look at your SDS stuff? Yeah. Or is it more that you have to have the knowledge to know what to do and what not to do? And that's what's most important. And that's where you can give somebody the chemicals, but if they don't know what to do with them, it's pointless. So the chemicals only go so far. The rest of it is just pure knowledge. And that's where, for instance, like me, I don't beat myself. My customers tell me I don't give myself enough credit. It's just because I'm just not that kind of guy. But it's knowledge. And I'm also going to tell you, a lot of the knowledge comes from the customers, because the customer tells you what they want and what they expect. And the customer is the one that ultimately, I've had customers tell me, hey, we've tried this, we can't do it. And I find some cool fix for it. And then I've had other times where I've tried everything, and the customer walks up and is like, oh, just use that. And it works great, So when you think you're up here and this is, everything or whatever, and you think that you're the best or whatever, all you're doing is stifling yourself from knowledge that, can come from anywhere. You don't know who it's going to come from.
Walk humbly, right? Walk humbly. I think it's a good moment to say, folks, TallyHo is a great way to spot folks like Robert. Robert's a small company in Houston, but man, they do great work. And I think it's a great time to mention that, as a matter of fact, PREMAIR is the top rated aircraft service provider of all the service providers. We have over 1,500 services listed on TallyHo. About 10% of those are subscriber services like Robert. And of all of those 1,500, he is the top rated service provider on TallyHo for 2021. So, Robert, with that,
that's crazy.
Should be a little bit of a trophy there. Would love to have you hold that up for a second. And
yeah, I got a trophy. I didn't know if I was going to be here on time.
There we go. We're trying to think of, that's beautiful. We're trying to think of congratulations, first of all, and I wanted to say,
it says TallyHo, presented to PREMAIR Detailing, highest rated service provider for 21. Thank you, Byron. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you, Jim. Miss Gracie, for actually getting all this here on time.
For any of you wondering, so what does that mean? What's the rating? Is it 4.2? Is it 4.5? Is it 4.6? No, it's actually 5.0. Had quite a number of ratings, and reviews, and all of them were 5.0. So that's pretty awesome to have that kind of feedback from your customers. Number one, that they're willing to that they love your service enough that they're willing to go out and spend a little to rate and review you. And number two, to have a consistency of rating at 5 stars. So tell me a little bit about what that means to you.
To me, well, it's very humbling because I know that there's a lot of other. It's extremely humbling, actually. Me and my wife were talking about this yesterday. She's like, "You do realize, like, it's just me and you, right?" You know, and I was like, "Well, it just goes to show how an app like TallyHo can affect a small business. You know, I've in the past, I was at a point where I had 12, 13, 14 employees and stuff when I, not my company, but working for somebody else. And you're a bigger company, you get more done and make more money and all that. And that's why I'll never be like a successful businessman. But for me,
I think you already are.
Mine is my family and my life. And I believe that you have to find a happy medium in that, or one of the other is going to fail, basically. And for me and my wife, we do well with what we do, and we have time to be with our boys and with my family. And we're a tiny business, and so my name's not going to get out there except for the people that know me. And so an app like TallyHo will help me get to people over in the East Coast, West Coast, you know, abroad, anywhere, you know, the Houston area for the most part. And I'm not, you know, saying whatever, but yeah, people know our name and all that. And I know that. And then, but the only way that's ever happened before is by word of mouth. And which is awesome. And in aviation, anyone knows that. That's the key. You know, if you screw up one time, everybody will know about it. If you do amazing 1,000 times, people talk about you, and eventually word will get out. Well, something like this app shows that a small business can get their name out there and show the amazing services that they offer. This is for detailing for me, but I mean, you get the mechanic stuff. I've been through it. You have a freaking list of services on there, like it's mind blowing. And I was sitting there scrolling through. I'm like, holy crap, this will be awesome for like the small owner operator that's going to fly somewhere they've never been and trying to find out, well, where the hell am I going to get, you know, this? And I don't have an airplane and I don't, or anything, but I can imagine there are times where that happens, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
This app can fix that. And it also, like we said, the small business guy, the little paint shop that's over there that no one really knows about, you know, a couple of people go on there and the guy does amazing work, but he just don't advertise, kind of like us. I have a Facebook PREMAIR page, and that's it. And I don't do nothing on it. And I have it just so if someone looks our name up, something pops up. Because I do not care about any of that stuff. I really don't. And that's why I told you, this is my first Zoom. Like, I didn't even know how to turn the damn camera on. He had to you know, I'm not technologically, my wife's better than me, but I don't think in aviation you need all that stuff, except for if you can find an app like this one where it does it for you and you don't have to do anything. And then all you get, I have got, and I'm not joking, I've probably got 15, 20 phone calls from people that are nowhere near here asking about aircraft cleaning services. And a couple of them, I'm trying to think, I'd be lying if I told you, probably 4 or 5 of them actually used our services. The other ones were shocked by price and stuff, and that became an issue. But as far as the connection, that app did that. And I guarantee you right now, there's no way I would have ever met these people or known about them, you know, if it wasn't for that. So that's a huge deal. Like this app, you know, I know that y'all just started, but like, dude, I'm just this PP company over here in Splendora, you know, but imagine someone that does have 10, 12, 14, 18 employees or something like that, and they can actually move about and actually get around a lot more. It'd be huge for them because we take care of everywhere from Beaumont to Sugar Land to Conroe, Brian Painter at Tomball Jet Center. I love that dude. He gives me so much work. And we're not just doing big planes. We do little planes too, because everyone's the same. Everyone needs someone they can depend on to take care of their airplane, whether it be a mechanic, a detailer, paint shop, or just the FBO in general, just to take care of their airplane. And that app is crucial to showing that the person is the right person to choose. And you're not just going off of, just Googling stuff, because if you Google us right now, unless you Google aircraft cleaning, we don't even pop up.
Yeah, it's a mess. You get all
I've done it. And I don't care, honestly, and that's why whenever this came up, I was like, man, it's pretty badass. Like, that's actually a really good idea, and then it wasn't 2 weeks after we signed up or whatever, we got a phone call from a guy that was coming out of Mexico. And we went to Hobby and went and cleaned his area. And I'm like, how'd you find it? Oh, the app. And I'm like, the app. And he's like, and I was like, oh yeah, we signed up for that damn. Like, I forgot. I'm sorry, Byron. But I seriously, I forgot. Because on the price of it versus what you get back is. It speaks for itself. You can't. It's the biggest word, the biggest mouth that you can get to get your name out there. That you would never ever be able to touch these customers if it wasn't for something like that. And the way social media is and stuff like that, it's just trash. Yeah, honestly, I can't stand social media anymore. Like, if I didn't have to talk to some of my family out of state and stuff, I'd probably shut my FB down. And all that.
Hey, that's a tremendous.
Sorry for reading, dude. Like,
that's a tremendous testimonial, and we exist for all the above, but really the idea for the app when I first conceived it was for just what you're talking about is there's so many great service providers, and you might be a 2-person company right now, but it doesn't matter if you're a 1-person company. We want people to be able to find those excellent 5-star service providers that are out there, those people with expertise that are, you land in, Pierre, South Dakota, and you're looking for somebody and you need somebody spilled wine in your airplane and you got to get that out. Like, we want to be able to help you find expertise in the big cities, but also in the far-flung places.
Yeah, and it's not only a big company. Like you said, it could be this little tiny company, and the only way they would ever get there, aviation is so tight-knit. No one really gives a damn about anything else outside of aviation. And so with it being so tight-knit, it's either word of mouth or something like this. That's really your only options, because whether word of mouth could be a text message, a phone call, an email, or whatever. But outside of that, the likelihood of you hooking up with somebody, is really slim. And it gives the customer a peace of mind knowing that, hey, look, they got all these reviews. I know they're going to be good. Maybe I don't want to spend what they, do. Like what they charge for that's outrageous or whatever. But at least, if I do need to use them, at least they're a good company, and you're not just going off of some expensive marketing they paid for or some crap like that. It's a legit service. I think it's awesome. I don't know if we haven't even talked about this. I don't know if you thought this up and you just made this happen, but whoever did, if it wasn't you, or if it wasn't you, shake your head, yes or no. Was it you? It was you. It's crazy. Like, it's amazing.
I can't say that I made it happen. I didn't code it, but the idea, I did have the idea.
No, it's amazing. It's awesome. This needed to happen a long time ago. I think you you have a serious niche. You're already in a niche, and you have another niche now.
Well, I'll give God the credit because He's the inspiration for everything. So,
Absolutely.
You're watching Under the Cowling, sponsored by TallyHo apps, and we get underneath the cowling of these businesses that support our aviation industry. Our purpose in this podcast is to talk to the personalities that are servicing your airplanes that really keep the airplane business going. We have a lot of exposure, I think, for the manufacturers of airplanes and the operators of airplanes. But the purpose of this podcast is to really talk to the personalities who are really keeping aviation running every day. So, Robert, I like to transition to one of my favorite questions here and talk about faith a little bit.
Yes, sir.
You and I have had some good conversations about that. I've been a follower of Christ since I was 14. I'm 47 now, so I guess that's 33 years. But I was just curious, what part does faith play in your business, in your family, to whatever level you want to discuss about that.
It's everything. I'm not an angel by any means, but I'm guarded by a ton of them because, man, I've been through hell. Like, to get where I'm at right now, honestly, and I'm being real, and I can't go in detail for a bunch of different reasons, but there were times where I thought I was going to lose absolutely everything. Not my family, not my wife or anything, but financially, and and the only thing that pushed me through was prayer and having faith that, look, I know, like, there's no way I've been doing this long and I'm gonna fail. Like, I'm meant to do this for a reason, and I feel that. And my wife, man, she's a badass, dude, for real. She has more faith than I do, and her faith helps me whenever I get down. And then there's certain prayers and things that we say, as far as, before I go into that, like, it's just whenever I have a bad day or money gets tight or anything, I seriously just pray. That's
a favorite prayer?
Whether I'm driving down the road, out loud, you don't have to be kneeling on your knees to pray or to talk to God. You can be anywhere, and that's what I did, is pray. And then there were times where I was absolutely lost, and then all of a sudden that phone call would come, and it was that one job I needed to push me through that hump, that I hadn't talked to them in forever, or some random call. It's always things like that. I believe that everyone talks about karma and coincidence or whatever. I believe that karma and coincidence are God's way of being invisible, is what I think, because it's coincidence or whatever, but if you have faith, it ain't coincidence. You're just, He's looking out for you. But you also, my daddy, God rest his soul, he used to tell me, he said, the good Lord made you, and whenever he made you, he gave you a brain, and he also gave you common sense, and he expects you to use that. And not everything is given to you. You have to work for things, and you have to do the right thing, and that's the truth. So if you screw up in your company or in your life, there's going to be repercussions for it, and you're going to have to go through those. But if you have faith, you will get through it. And there's a piece of paper that we have over our bedroom that I printed out on a printer, and it's the Prayer of Jabez. And it's and my memory is horrible, so I got a little piece of paper on the side of the phone right here or whatever, but it's it said, Jabez called on to the God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, and that your hand would be with me, and that you would keep me from evil." So that God granted him what he requested. We say this, we pray every night, and my wife and I, not together, not out loud, because she's not really a vocal person like that. We say this every single day before we go to work. And we're here. You
That's
know,
right.
it's I believe faith is everything. And if people don't have faith, then what do you look forward to? You know, like that's what drives me. You know, my mother passed away last week, and faith is what got me through that. You know, and here I am talking on a Zoom call with you for the first Zoom I've ever had. You know, I'm at peace, and it's all because of faith. Faith is real, whether you believe it or not. You know, and I know that you. All right, I'm going to say this too. You told me it was open, so on a LinkedIn thing, on a LinkedIn thing, I posted a Bible scripture, and someone posted on my page and said, "You're a business owner. You should keep religion out of it." And I said, "No, absolutely not." And he said, "Well, some people don't feel the same way you do." I said, "Well, then them people can just not use me. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
I really don't." And that's the way I feel. I have my beliefs, and I'm going to stick to them. And if they don't like them, they can either get past that, or there's other people out there. You can go use them, you know. But I will never defy my faith, because that's what drives me.
I don't know who wouldn't want to use a service provider that subscribes to a core of ethics as strong as Christ provides, and then also is beholden to somebody greater than themselves. To me, those are two pretty good things to have in a service provider.
No, absolutely, and I do, and I thank God for good people like you that are you're honest. You know, you've called me for some jobs.
Yep.
And I wasn't able to do some of them, but you knew that, and you didn't care. You just, you know, you kept going on or whatever, and you call me again, and I was able to take care of you and do things for you. But you're real, and you're honest, and you're a God-fearing man. And all of this is about honesty. It's just being able to trust someone to do whatever it is that you want to have done. And it is so hard these days, you know. And I'm not saying that this app is going to 100% fix all that, because it's not.
No.
But at least it'll weed out a lot of it. And you can get other people's feedback and real feedback on what happens with the services they provide. And it all comes down to honesty and integrity, and that's what we base our company on. That's why, as tiny as we are, you know, like I go in there and BS with these guys like we're friends. You know, I'm not a number; they're not a number. I treat everybody the same, and I value our relationship. I value obviously the living I can make by cleaning their airplanes. But these are also the people that like sent flowers to my mom's funeral, and the text messages, phone calls. You know, it wasn't shit about an airplane.
Yeah.
It was about, they were worried about me and mama.
Right.
You know, and that shows that your integrity goes a long way. It goes further than the service you provide. It becomes personal.
That's
and
right.
it's once you build that bond, it's awesome. It's trying to make that bond is what's hard. And that's where something like this will actually help, because you weed out all the bad stuff. Sorry to rant. Talk too long.
No, you've transitioned from just a transaction. You know, a lot of business is just transactional, and you've transitioned, you know, where you're getting flowers, like you said, at your mom's memorial or funeral. Now you're transitioned to a relationship, and that's really the higher form of business, right? Is relational business instead of just transactional business.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's a great note to finish on. And so I just want to say thank you, Robert, and congratulations. First of all, condolences, obviously, on the loss of your mother, but congratulations on your win this year on being the highest rated TallyHo service provider in the whole land. I think that's really well deserved. We thank you for being a subscriber. And we're psyched to have you aboard, and we're looking forward to what we can do for you in year 2.
Oh no, man, y'all are awesome. You and Rodney and Jim, Y'all are great people. Anytime I haven't had any problems except for me being an idiot or a dumbass and not knowing how to use the app. And that's just because I just don't do technology. And Rodney's always on point trying to tell me what to do. And dude, you're hitting the wrong button. You got to hit this or whatever. But the transition, y'all updated the app and it looks amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And as far as I love this app, like I told you, I'm not one to try and market stuff. I don't market myself, so why in the hell would I market anything else, But my customers, they like it. Some of them don't have a use for it. The bigger, flight departments that everything's already locked in, they don't do that. But there are a bunch of owner operators that do use it, and they like it. And your marketing's amazing. Y'all are a great group of people. You yourself personally have always been extremely nice to me, and I thank God for you. You're a real dude, and I'm going to keep using the app, as long as I can, as long as we're open, so
we really love that.
I appreciate your time. If I ran it on too long, I apologize.
Not at all. This is perfect.
This is fun. This was my first Zoom. You broke me in, so we'll see what happens from here.
You did great. Well, thanks so much for your time, Robert. Once again, everybody, check him out, Robert, at Robert Guinn at PREMAIR down in Houston. He's got reach out to Beaumont as well, over to San Antonio. If you need him, give him a call. Find him on the app. Check out the app. It's available in the App Store and Google Play. We just completed our first year in business. We're adding new businesses every week, and just check us out. And hey, God bless you and your business, and I hope things continue to go well for you.
God bless you, Byron. Thanks for everything.
Got it. And thanks again for tuning in. Until next time, tally ho.